For me, when I meditate on this full moon, it really is about aligning with your authentic self at the end of the day and letting go and releasing everything that is not you. Like if we were to look at like a broad strokes and big picture view, that's what this full moon in Aquarius means to me. Because the sun is in its home sign of Leo, and that's all about being able to shine in your authenticity as only you can, and also following your heart. The opposite sister sign is the moon in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarian energy is the inventor, is all about looking towards the future and all about the collective. So if we were just to look at the full moon in that context, it's really about like maybe asking questions of what is my role? Do I even have a role? Like what is my role and responsibility in my community, in the collective? And how can I follow my heart in doing that? Because Aquarius can have a little bit of a detached, cold energy as it is ruled by Saturn. And so Saturn is ruling this full moon, and Saturn is currently retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So we always look at the ruler of the full moon to give us another layer, another picture of what is happening. So it's interesting because Saturn is in Jupiter's realm of like beliefs and faith. If we take that into the context of this moment, a lot of us are asking ourselves, what is it going to take to sustain this movement? Because a lot of people are feeling really burnt out and also feeling like they are in despair because change isn't happening at the pace that we want it to. Now, Saturn is having a direct conversation with its ruler, Jupiter, which is transiting in the sign of Gemini. Now, stay with me because this is a lot about rulerships and who speaks to who, right? And they're speaking together in a square formation. And this is the opening square of the conjunction that happened December 20th, 21st, 2020. It was the Great Conjunction. Everyone was talking about it. And it was 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this is the opening square. So there was a seed planted back in 2020, which is when Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. and Kamala Harris were elected into office. Now it's the opening square. It's like, is this what it's going to take to move us collectively? And then at the individual level, you're asking yourself, all right, like my beliefs are being tested here. This is what's called a mutable T-square because the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So Jupiter is squaring Venus and Virgo, and both Venus and Jupiter are not in their favorite places because Jupiter and Venus are kind of like, they want to be dreamy. They want to be like, oh, let's expand. Let's grow together. But Venus in Virgo is a little bit more practical, is a little bit more discerning, and a little judgmental, if I'm being honest. And Jupiter in Gemini is like, I'm going to gather data and I'm going to really collect information before I commit to a belief. Which is why I think a lot of people are losing their minds because that is a lot of mental energy. It's a lot of sifting through information, and both Venus in Virgo and Jupiter in Gemini are answering to that Mercury that has been going retrograde. So you're like recalling information, recalling facts. Maybe people from your past have come back so that you can like really look at it this time, digest and process, because that's what happens with like traumatic events, right? It's like we don't take the time to process it and then we just keep moving on. From one traumatic event to the next without fully processing and digesting like what just happened, which is why we have an overload, which is why people are exhausted. Now, we have the sun in Leo square to Uranus in Taurus. And this is a really exciting aspect of this full moon because it's already a full moon about liberating yourself and releasing something that's just not meant for you to move forward again, because Aquarius is about looking to the future. And we just had a Mercury Cazimi the day before this full moon. And so there is something to be said about having some kind of revelation, an aha moment, a download possibly that is going to help you see a future, see the possibilities that wasn't available to you like even 2 weeks ago. And I really encourage you not to bypass this, because this is such an opportunity to liberate yourself in an aspect of your life that maybe has felt stuck and you felt frustrated, because this is a reality check moment. It is a moment to be very honest with yourself and the people around you. Okay, so now that you know intellectually that something has to change, how do you remediate for all of these tense aspects? My favorite remediation for any aspect in the sky is breath work, because breath work is such a great way to cleanse and ground yourself, because we need that moment of clarity before we take action. We need that moment of presence being in our bodies to know what to do next.